And yeah, let's just call it 4-color control. That's probably the
Four-color
easiest thing
control.
to
You can
call it.
yeah. One thing that I like about Obs and Aggro, and you always talk about decks that do this, is it's a very good. It's a brew punisher. So I always talk about decks that do this. I mean, if you ever remember back, like the ultimate brew punisher, I remember if you ever played back when there was Bloodbraid Elf Lightning, it was like if you brought a brew to a tournament and played against that deck, they would run you out of the building. And Obs on Aggro is pretty good at doing that. It's like, oh, you're trying to do something fun here. Let me kill you.
Yeah.
And
that's what the old Jund deck used to do.
Right. So I'm interested in this because I want to see if this is, if you want to put your deck to the test, okay, you got to play against Obs on Aggro because they may just crush you.
Well, here's the hand from a Thoughtseize. Sylvan Caryatid, Anger of the Gods, Elspeth, Banishing Light, a couple of lands.
So if you look at this hand from Todd's side, say, hey, this looks like a red-white mid-range deck, except there's Sylvan Caryatid in here, and I'm not really sure what to make of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be sure what to make of that either. You take a look at Elspeth, and if you're Todd, you're thinking, okay, that card's really hard for my deck to beat, so maybe I want to take that, but
yeah.
Okay, he's going to take that. So that means that he's not terribly afraid of Anger of the Gods if that's his selection.
Well, the great part about Obs on Aggro is that the creatures are threatening enough by themselves that you rarely get more than a 1-for-1 with Anger of the Gods.
Yeah. Caryatid's going to be put into play. You're going to search for a forest, of course, with that Wooded Foothills. That's the only way you can cast it. The draw for Drew was a Temple of Mystery, which is a lot of fun.
At that point, Todd will really, once again, probably something he won't expect.
Yeah, I don't think so. Rashasha Death Dealer, Temple of Silence. Top card going to stay on top for Anderson. Pass the turn back over to Beech. Beech will draw a copy of End Hostilities.
Well, remember that Todd left Drew with a hand of Sylvan Caryatid Anger of the Gods on top of that, which, okay, I mean, Caryatid dies to Anger of the Gods, so that's probably fine.
There's a Temple of Mystery. That's the smoking gun. And if you're Todd, yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of colors going on here.
Todd probably said something, too, because Drew had a little bit of a laugh there. Here's a Siege Rhino. Can't kill that one with Anger of the Gods.
The Brew Punisher. I don't really know what you're doing, but this Siege Rhino is probably good.
Oh, just attack.
Right? Siege Rhino's good against everything.
Yeah.
Todd doesn't really need to know what's going on here. His game plan's not going to change that much.
Drew's draw for the turn was an Ajani, Mentor of Heroes.
I mean, that card seems sweet in this deck.
Yeah.
It probably finds really good things.
Well, the elevator can only go up, so let's take a look.
He could make, unless he was planning on making a really big Caryatid.
Courser of Krufix. Pass that turn back.
So for me, this falls into the vein, and I myself played some of these decks for a bit, of the decks that start 4 Caryatid, 4 Courser, bunches of good cards. And, you can fit a lot of decks into that shell.
4 Courser, 4 Caryatid, figure it out.
Yeah, play what you think is correct from there.
Temple of Plenty was the draw. There's a Courser. And this could be fun. Let's see what this reveals. Island.
Basic island.
Nice.
Not what you'd expect.
What's next? Caryatid. Lame.
Okay.
That's so tame.
I mean, yep. Well, Siege Rhino will swing.
This is the Brew Punisher. Because Todd just draws the card, attack.
Just like, I don't even know what you're doing, but these 4/4s are probably good against it.
There's an offensive pass the turn back.
And Drew's going to have to, at some point here, sweep his own board away. Of course, they're added. Here's another Planeswalker. It's on Xenagos.
I am loving this.
So not only were there 13 Planeswalker style cards, but we counted 8 different ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. Drew's going to leave.
You just don't know what's going to happen next.
Drew's going to leave that Xenagos on top. There's End Hostilities. Kill all your stuff, thanks. Didn't see that coming, did you?
What I like about the Million Planeswalkers list is that the one it banks on, the one he's playing a lot of, is a Johnny.
Yeah, because that finds the other one.
Yeah, I mean, you just keep playing more blockers.
Here's Siege Rhino.
Brew punished. Here we go. Whatever. I still don't know what you're doing. Siege Rhino's still good.
Yep.
It's good against life totals and cards. Here's Downfall's good against cards. Siege Rhino's good against life totals. Most decks have those, right?
Xenagos is the draw. We're going to see Caryatid and Xenagos. Probably going to pump out a Satyr.
Yeah, it's got to protect itself here.
Todd's going to draw a card. So Fleeceman Line was the draw last turn. Forest is the draw this turn. If you have a life total, so Siege Rhino's going to attack. It's going to go after Xenagos.
Drew could trade the Caryatid for another Satyr with a block there. Just let Xenagos go down.
Fleeceman Lion, pass the turn. What's the draw now?
Sarkhan Unbroken.
Nice.
I have not seen this card in play very much yet.
I think it's made one appearance here on SCG Live.
It's not bad. So 5-mana Planeswalker, it can make 4/4 dragons. It can draw cards and make mana. Those are the primary abilities that you'll see it do.
Don't see the ultimate very much on it. Here it comes.
Yeah, the ultimate of searching out all the dragons. He's actually not playing any dragons, so I don't think that's a thing in this deck.
Boo.
Here's a dragon token to join the Satyr token.
All right, pass the turn back. That means Todd can go ultimate with his Fleeceman line.
I mean, those Planeswalkers sure are fancy, but a 4/4 indestructible is pretty good against them.
Get in there. Gonna go after Sarkhan.
Goes after Sarkhan with both of them.
A double block.
It showed that Drew was willing to let his... I was surprised that he was willing to let his Sarkhan go here, as opposed to chump blocking the line.
He may not.
Okay, we're still on blocks.
I think so.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, he's trading his carry added for the chance at another dragon token, which makes sense. He actually is pulling ahead of Todd right now.
Todd gonna go monsters right now, pass the turn back. He could actually plus Sarkhan here. Doesn't even have to make a dragon token. Oh boy.
Well, that is the backbone of this Planeswalker brew. It's a Johnny Mentor of Heroes. Another copy of it. He goes and finds more. That guy's gonna find a Planeswalker every time.
Basically. I know it found Courser the first time, but that might be the bad side of variance. Here's a Johnny.
This is excellent. I am a big fan of this. You just get to think about how many mythic rares Drew gets to play here. It's almost the entire deck.
I'm currently like in heaven.
All right, so here's a Johnny. Now, he also could just make a really large Satyr or a really large dragon.
True.
Yes.
Sarkhan's going to tick up, draw a card. There's Frontier Bivouac.
Sure.
Yep, make a really large Satyr. Now, this can go really bad if Todd draws a removal spell this turn.
Well, really bad's not even so bad. I mean, Drew will lose his Sarkhan, but then he'll get another tick off as a Johnny. Unless, yeah, it's actually not terrible.
I guess it's not horrible.
I think even if Todd draws the kill spell, I like Todd from that board.
Like Todd or Drew?
Even if Todd draws the downfall for a Satyr, I don't think it's so bad here.
Okay. He drew Llanowar away, so all I can do is pass the turn back.
And here come the Planeswalkers. They're going to compound Drew's advantage real quickly.
Which one did he draw this turn?
Another Sarkhan Unbroken. So that's not going to do much.
He's going to tick down, make a dragon.
Now, he either can make a large dragon or just start drawing cards. Imagine he'll just draw cards for now. Make maybe the dragon large next turn.
He's going to tick up. Yeah, I like a big dragon.
Big dragon.
He's going to split the counters up a little bit here.
So the Satyr is a 7/7. The dragon is a 5/5. He's gonna. This is aggressive. Another Sarkhan. Sure, I think it's gonna be another dragon.
Oh yes. Finally get to see this Planeswalker in action. Give me another dragon, thank you. Pass the turn back.
Things have gone awry quickly for Todd.
Abzan Charm, eh?
Too many Planeswalkers. Too much value.
Fleeceman Lion is outclassed badly.
And it really was just Drew had too many Planeswalkers.
Well, he has a lot of them. So that's going to be a problem moving forward.
And it is looking like he's going to get the first of these games.
I think he's got to draw cards, right, if you're Todd? I don't think you have much of a choice.
Not winning any other way.
Yeah.
The thing is, Sarkhan ties up the air really well. I'm not sure what Todd's drawing to yet. The answer's nothing.
He's not drawing anything. He's going to concede the game. He drew 2 lands off that Abzan Charm. Drew Beech up a game here with his 4-color control deck with 13 Planeswalkers over Todd Anderson playing Abzan aggro. That was easy.
Well, and it's not that Todd's draw was bad either. We saw Rakshasa Death Dealer to pair of Siege Rhinos. A pretty reasonable start from Todd. And Todd got through nearly every Planeswalker. I mean, there were some points at which Drew was... I mean, was it the Xenagos made one Satyr and then immediately got attacked down? You know, Todd did a great job of getting Planeswalkers off the board, but the one that he couldn't answer was the one that killed him.
Well, Todd's got some answers to Planeswalkers in his sideboard. He's got 2 copies of Duress. That's certainly going to help. 2 Self-Inflicted Wounds, 2 Glare of Heresy, 2 Tasker of the Golden Fang, 3 Hornet Nest, 2 Drown in Sorrow, Nissa Worldwaker, and a 4th copy of Wingmate Rock. We've seen this sideboard a little bit earlier, pretty close to what Jerry is playing. Your thoughts on what he can bring in besides, I think Duress is obvious.
Duress is obvious. There's so many Planeswalkers here. Surprisingly, not too many of them are white, so I don't think he can actually bring in Glare of Heresy. That said, Nissa Worldwaker seems pretty decent here. One thing that Drew's Planeswalkers seem to have in common is that most of them are token makers. So you want the ability to attack down the Planeswalkers. And because Drew has so many walkers, he actually doesn't have much removal, so he's not great at removing a Nissa. So I imagine Nissa will come in. Wingmate Rock is interesting. Flyers are generally good against walkers, so I think he will go toward that as well.
For Drew's side, it's always disappointing when you see a wacky 4-color deck and the sideboard is so tame. 4 Nyx Fleece Rams, 3 Dig Through Times, 2 Wild Slash, a couple copies of Banishing Light, a Radiant Purge, an Encased Ice, and 2 Surge of Righteousness.
Well, Radiant Purge seems excellent. It exiles. There's a lot of multicolor stuff in Todd's deck. I imagine he'll bring that one in. Encased Ice has got to be pretty good. Almost all of Todd's creatures can get hit by one. Banishing Light is not unreasonable either. It's a kill spell for most of Todd's things.
I would just want, like a Chromanticore and a Soul Flare on the board. That's what I want to do. It's completely unreasonable, I know, but that's what I want to do.
No. Well, he's not playing black. He can't play Chromanticore.
Not with that attitude. Come on, there's probably Manic Influence in here somewhere, Matthias. My goodness. Hold on.
Wait.
Sarkhan, Unbroken, can add any color of mana. Boom, problem solved. Real quick, before we get back to this awesome deck, we're going to talk about SCG Game Night.
Absolutely.
We've got 3 months coming for you guys. The bee, that's for me. That's on me. If you weren't aware, I don't like bees. I've talked about this a couple of times in the broadcast. I fear them. And last weekend when I was playing Magic in the Cabin, the way I was woken up, so I got stung in the face by one.
I would really not keep one so close to yourself. He's right next to your face right now. That
He
pin.
is.
Yeah.
He is. So my concerns were actually warranted because have you ever been woken up by being stung in the face by a bee?
He's just waiting for you to let your guard down right now.
That's right. Buzz is a pretty nice guy. For June, we've got a bunny. I know you're a big fan of the bunny.
Yeah, well, he's got a plan. See, there's some carrots, and there's a fence around him, but he's got it all solved.
That fence is going to go down.
Yeah.
And we're going to get those carrots. And then for July, the new one, we've got the piglet. Yeah, let's go with piglet.
He is so happy. Look at him. He's just having fun.
Mizing around in the mud. Got some boots on. You can get these at any game night that you're at. If you want to get these, talk to your local store. It's too late to get the May kit. You might have some time left to sign up for the June kit, but if not, get signed up for July so you can get some piglets in your store. Get this pin as well. StarCityGames.com for more information as we get ready for game number 2 here between Drew Beech and Todd Anderson. Sometimes Magic is just the most fun game ever. When I get to watch a deck like this win game number 1 over against a net deck, the enemy in Todd Anderson.
Yeah, I do think I would go minus some copies of Anger of the Gods for Drew. And more hard removal, more Banishing Lights. It's interesting, stuff like 3 Dig Through Time in his sideboard. That is not a card I see in people's sideboards, especially not as a 3 of.
No, you don't see that very often.
Generally, decks that are Dig Through Time decks play them in the main. They want that.
Here's the Fleece main line from Anderson. He's going to be on 19. We got a Forest or a Plains coming. It'll be a Forest here from Todd.
It's like if I put Siege Rhino in the sideboard. It's like, I have 4 Siege Rhinos on my board.
You'd be like, what are you? Just play 2 of them.
Or just play.
That would never happen.
I can't imagine that someone would only play 2 Siege Rhinos. That's certainly a 0 or 4 card.
Yes. Here's an attack for 3. Eric Hawkins, we love you. I swear. And Offensa. Of course, he'll be searching up a Plains.
The Brew Punisher. Here it comes.
This is definitely a Brew Punisher draw.
I don't even know what you're doing, but what you're doing is taking damage.
Yeah, this is the definition of a Brew Punisher draw, without question. What's she up to over there? Anticipate?
I don't even know. Something.
Yep, there is an Anticipate.
That's nice.
All right, let's take a look at these 3.
There's the person. If you have the Absalom person, is it my turn again yet? Can we keep doing this?
The cards you got to select from, it was Lightning Strike, Sarkhan Unbroken, and Anticipate. This is so awesome.
He doesn't have red in play yet. Oh, look, he's having so much fun with this list.
I would be too.
You're just like, oh, look at all these things I'm doing.
Courser was the draw. Yeah, no red mana yet, unfortunately.
Hey, he can cast the Courser. Really got to hope there's not something like Dramoka's Command.
That would be bad news.
There's a lot of things that could be. But all right, here's Courser. Top card is Flooded Strand.
Todd will draw. Obson Charm.
Jeez.
There's
Swing.
an attack and a counter. Yep.
Yeah, so the counter, so the lines, everything's just big enough to swing through. Here's 8 damage. There's more stuff.
Yep. Death Dealer, pass the turn back.
We're just going to have a turn 5 kill being represented.
We may. Nyx Fleece Ram is the top card.
So that is, yeah, there are 4 Nyx Fleece Rams in Drew's sideboard, so he looks like he's gone to those.
That card's good in this matchup.
Yeah, that makes sense. Depending on how much, he has 3 end hostilities as well.
He needs to draw one real soon.
There's an interesting thing going on here where he's got a lot of sweepers and then cards that could get killed by his own sweepers, which is fine. I guess as long as you get to the planeswalkers, you don't care if the creatures die afterward.
You don't care at all. Then it goes to top card. He's up to 10. There's a land. We're going to have some chump blocking here.
Swing, counter onto Death Dealer. If Drew only blocks 1 creature, this Obson Charm is... Well, it depends what he blocks, but... Yeah, no, the Obson Charm is just going to kill him.
Yep.
Because he could pump and... Yeah. So even if Drew blocks both creatures, he's going to lose both coursers for nothing. Or Todd will just monstrosity the Fleece main line. There are all sorts of ways this works out poorly for Drew.
Yeah, this is just bad news all the way around. Yeah, I think Todd, he's just going to pump because he's got mana open to regenerate if he needs to. He deals 4 points of damage, pass the turn back. If Drew were to have an hostilities in his hand, which he does not,
he would die.
Yeah, he would still be dead.
Todd would regenerate, lose everything but the Death Dealer, untap, swing Death Dealer.
And Drew knows that he's going to concede the game.
Brew punished. All right.
That's what Obson Aggro does. Todd Anderson going to win game number 2 here. Obson Aggro 4-color control. Going to move on to game number 3. I'm going to watch Drew here. I want to see if he's going to go back to the drawing board or not. Todd's going to take a look. It looks like Drew might just be happy with his configuration as he's just shuffling up.
So what Todd has learned, remember, this is one of the interesting parts, is watching a player's ability to improvise. I always like seeing that, especially from your veteran players. He's going to switch his game plan. He's learned more. He's learned about Nyx Fleece Ram now.
Yep.
He didn't know about that previously, and that matters. It's possible he boarded out cards like Dramoka's command, but now that he knows that there's Rams in addition to coursers, maybe that's reason to change your mind.
If they were out, they're coming back in now.
Yeah.
Immediately, especially if Drew's not going back to his drawing board, which he's not. You can see he's just shuffling up. No, he might be reaching now, so okay. He might be reconsidering his options a little bit with his 4-color deck. What the big deal is here for him is that he's on the play.
Now, when I'm in these situations, especially if you're playing a brew, I think something, it seems really silly, but something you'd want to do if you're on Drew's side is to take some number of cards out of your sideboard, even if you're going to do nothing, shuffle them into your deck, go through your deck, and pull out the cards you shuffled back in. Just represent let your opponent know that you might have switched something.
Get him thinking.
Yeah.
Get him thinking. I'm with you.
Yeah. Looking at Todd's sideboard, it looks like he's pulled some of the Siege Rhinos out in this matchup.
Interesting. Rarely see that.
Well, if your opponent's on Nyx Fleece Rams, Siege Rhino actually matches up really poorly to Nyx Fleece Ram.
That is true. 24 lands in this deck here for Drew. And the 4 coursers, 4 Caryatids. Anticipate 2 to maybe try to hold it all together to be able to cast all these crazy cards.
I'm wondering if what Todd has gone for is not just the Dramoka's hands, but he has copies of Self-Inflicted Wound in his sideboard. So now that he knows there's Courser, Caryatid, and Ram, maybe he goes for that plan where he just wants to get very low to the ground with cheap creatures and cheap removal.
I think that's actually a really good idea to have those in the deck.
Just say, okay, you have this really weird late game full of all these different planeswalkers. I don't really know what's going on there, but if I just don't let you get to it, I don't have to care. You know, if you have aggressive creatures followed by Self-Inflicted Wound on Drew's Courser, let's say, then it doesn't matter what Drew's 5-drops are if Todd's 2 to 3 creatures ahead.
Yeah, he won't be able to catch up,
right.
Just like we saw last game. All right, Drew Beech, show us something spicy, my friend.
Still has Anger of the Gods, and I'm a little surprised to see that. But then again, if there are situations where it could be pretty good here.
There are definitely some situations where it can be good. There are also some situations it can be really, really bad.
Well, I wonder if I am still skeptical of Caryatid into Anger of the Gods in this matchup.
It's a bit of a nombo.
It's not something I want to be doing.
Bit of a nombo. Todd taking a mulligan here. Drew kept his 7.
But he's not playing black, so he can't have Drown in Sorrow in that spot instead.
No, I mean, I imagine that he needs to have that sort of effect in his deck. So
Right.
he just doesn't get ruined by a red deck. And this is the kind of deck that an Atarka red deck would ruin.
Right, and that's why you see, I think, stuff like the sideboard starting with 4 Nyx Fleece Ram.
Yeah.
So, okay,
Temple of Epiphany to start.
sure. He has Plains, Temple of Epiphany, and Wooded Foothills, so he's got all the colors.
There's Temple of Malady for Anderson. Top card going to go to the bottom, pass it back over to Beech. Beech will take a draw.
Looks like Todd has gone for Tassiger this game. Those are in the sideboard.
Drew also has a copy of Radiant Purge in hand, and Hostilities too.
We're going to have Radiant Purge and Hostilities, Elspeth, Anger of the Gods, and some lands. So it looks like a red-white control deck at the moment.
Yeah,
But we know that there's more than that going on.
Duress the draw for Anderson.
Dress
Cast.
seems...
Duress is super good in this matchup, to say the least.
There's a lot of kill spells in an Elspeth.
It is super good.
This should be concern for Todd. Drew's going to have a lot of time, and he has a lot of live top decks.
Todd taking like a Radiant Purge. Haven't seen a lot of that one. That's for sure.
Not unreasonable, especially against Obs on aggro.
It's a nice little fun of.
I think the reason we aren't seeing much of this is we just aren't seeing a lot of white-based control.
All right, let's go back Beech's way. A Johnny the draw. There's a Wooded Foothills. Just pass the turn back over to Anderson.
Yeah, and that was the concern. It's okay, yeah, Todd left Drew with a hand of just kill spells by taking the Elspeth, but it figured that by the time Todd slogs through all this removal, Drew will have drawn another Planeswalker. He does play so many of them.
And defense is the play here for Anderson. Probably not very long for this world.
Yeah, she may just get purged here.
If you're Todd, you know the contents of your opponent's hand, so you just have to slog through now.
What I like here from what Drew's doing is he can wait until Todd's turn to cast Radiant Purge. He could even wait until Todd's end step if he wanted. That would prevent Todd from playing another creature. He could just take 4.
Let's see the draw here for Todd as a Rashasha Death Dealer. In he comes. There's Purge. Death Dealer? No fourth land.
Yeah,
just
no
pass.
fourth land. Also, one of his lands is a Plains.
Yep. That's a problem.
It's a deck with Plains and Rakshasa Death Dealer. It's kind of how Obs on aggro works.
You mean it's a combo deck?
Yep. It's okay. The combo's Urborg plus Plains.
Todd would love an Urborg right now. He's got a Hero's Downfall
That deck
in hand.
always wants an Urborg.
Yeah. Drew will draw. Copy.
Surge of Righteousness.
Yep.
And here's a Death Dealer, so
That's good.
good on Drew. It's going to hit.
There's land number 5.
Yeah, I think it's Cat Planeswalker time.
Do you like going for Johnny this turn?
It's unlikely Todd can kill it. You'd need to have Urborg to kill it. Goes up to 5.
Yeah.
The Death Dealer can't do it can't do it unless Todd's next land is Urborg. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's... It's tough. There's the concern of just, getting Hero's Downfall, but he only has 1 black source right now, so you'd have to peel black source. No guarantee that it even comes into play untapped. It's going to take a lot to kill this thing, and at the very least, it's likely to replace itself, even though it just didn't.
It's 5 lands, I believe.
Interesting. Let's see what the draw is. Plains.
Yep.
Yikes.
2 Plains Rakshasa Death Dealer.
Hyper combo deck. This is actually really tough because Todd can't commit more stuff
Yeah,
because he knows about hostilities.
yeah, but he needs to. But you're right. Yeah, he just can't. He's going to attack that Johnny. Down to 3. In his hand, there's a lot of awkwardness in it. Dromoka's Command, Wingmate Rock, Hero's Downfall, and Tassiger.
Sarkhan Unbroken has been drawn.
Thing is that Todd doesn't have enough damage on the board, so that Drew just gets to plus all these Planeswalkers at will.
He's going to minus this one. He's got a dragon now.
Yeah, that's good. I was a little surprised to not see him just continue to plus, but as the Death Dealer, well, I guess, no, it would trade with the dragon. Yeah, Todd can't even attack into it. No, this is right.
Carry added. That Johnny has been very tame. A miss and a carry added is not much of anything. Anderson will draw. It's a copy of Thoughtseize. That's not a black source. This is getting bad.
Too little, too late. His black man is really tied up. He wants it for the Death Dealer, both to attack, to pump, to leave up regeneration mana, to cast Thoughtseize.
You turn any of those lands into Urborg, life is really, really good, but it's really bad right now. And we've always talked about this with Abzan Aggro, too. It's a deck that is really powerful, but sometimes the mana doesn't come together. That hasn't been the case when we've watched most players play with it recently. Todd's going to play Tasker, but right now, the mana is not coming together for Anderson.
Well, the biggest liability is the card Rakshasa Death Dealer in the deck. He's pretty specific in what he wants for mana.
Big dragon.
Huge dragon into play. I was surprised because I thought Drew was going to pull the trigger on End Hostilities. I think that to me felt aggressive.
I think so.
Like, boy, that was aggressive. And now getting rid of Sarkhan to make a dragon. I mean, this is the control player. I like drawing cards too much. I would have plussed both of them to draw cards, which maybe you just need to play this deck a lot more aggressively than I'm giving it credit for.
Potentially. I didn't feel like that was a pretty aggressive line there from Drew. I would want to take up a Johnny, find more Planeswalkers, maybe cast End Hostilities, depends on what I find.
I guess there's a thing that now that Todd had the last turn, Todd hadn't even played the second black yet. Yeah.
It just did feel pretty aggressive. You see Drew's hand. 2 Caryatids, an Anger of the Gods, and a Surge of Righteousness. Todd will take the Surge.
So because Drew has spent a lot of, he spent his Sarkhan as a resource, Todd could still win here. Because Drew doesn't have that many more resources yet.
No.
Yeah, that swing is good. It puts Todd down to 3, but Todd has the kill spell.
See what Todd draws from Mocha's Command.
Sure. And Todd is forced into the downfall on Dragonline.
Yep. Now he has to hope that he has to hope that a Johnny misses and that Drew draws nothing. Well, kill that. That's what Hero's Downfall is going to do. Drew drew a good card.
There's Elspeth Sun's Champion, which is historically good against Abzan Aggro.
It sure is. Going to make 3 soldier tokens. And Johnny has not even been used yet this turn.
Now Johnny pluses, finding more cards.
This one whiffs too.
Again.
Man.
Maybe some of the... I was going to say maybe some of the Planeswalkers will come out, but it's not going to matter. Elspeth should carry the day.
Yeah, I think that's the case here. I don't think the Todd can come back from this. I mean, this is arguably the best card against Abzan Aggro in the format. You know, there's a card like Ugin, I suppose that's a little bit better, but Elspeth is way too hard for this deck to beat.
There is Rakshasa Death Dealer. Encase in Ice is the draw for Drew. Not to mention he can just pump all his soldiers, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to make them all 2/2s. Todd will attempt to fight the Death Dealer to one of them. That should be fine. He'll encase the Death Dealer in Ice, swing across for 2, and the match goes to Drew.
Drew Beech is going to win this game and match here over Todd Anderson. 2-1. 4-color control with 13 Planeswalkers. Send him to the sideboard. Did defeat Todd Anderson playing Abzan Aggro. Good on you, Drew Beech. Congratulations. No buys coming in. 6-2 with your brew.
Really like the deck. So many Planeswalkers. Johnny seems sweet.